Welcome to Idea TV News at 9. I am Chinatu Oji. We begin with the headlines. IGP redeploys over 11,500 police officers to boost security in underserved communities. We Are People Conference champions humane justice reform. Nigeria and Brazil sign new deal to boost local drug and vaccine production. Bandits kidnap 24 mutilate residents in fresh attacks on Niger State. ECOWAS pushes trade, agriculture and environmental agenda for a stronger West Africa. Away from Africa, France reintroduces voluntary military service 25 years after conscription ended in health. NNPC and Renaissance JV donates $300,000 to sustain cancer treatment in Abuja. And in business, CBN corridor shift sends yields tumbling across Nigerian markets. In sports, CAF approves expanded 28-man squad for AFCON 2025. Now the news in full. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Betokun, has ordered the redeployment of 11,566 officers earlier withdrawn from VIP protection duties. The personnel have now fully returned to the Nigeria Police Force and are being reassigned to underserved and vulnerable communities across the country. Speaking at a meeting with police strategic commanders in Abuja, the police chief said the move is part of ongoing reforms to strengthen internal security and revitalize community policing. He noted that directing more officers to rural and high-risk areas will improve visibility, speed up response to incidents, and support operations against criminal groups. Egbetukun added that redeployment aims to achieve a more balanced manpower distribution and ensure a more effective policing presence nationwide. He reaffirmed the force's commitment to professionalism, accountability, and stronger collaboration with citizens as further reforms continue. Moving on, the day one of the 2025 We Are People Conference organized by Youth Rights Nigeria opened with powerful conversations on the need to shift Nigeria's criminal justice system from punitive responses to humane, people-centered solutions. The conference, which continues into day two, brought together stakeholders, advocates, and young people to examine the realities of justice, rights, and reforms. The panelists emphasized the need to redesign existing laws to be survivor-centered, pointing to corruption as a major barrier. The key highlight of day one was the fireside chat with the founder of Youth Rights Nigeria, Dr. Adeolu Adebiyi, who discussed stigma, criminalization, and the need for empathy-driven approaches to drug use. In an interview outside the chat, he expanded on the conference's philosophy, emphasizing that it embodies compassion, dignity, and the belief that is changing.
So I think, for the conference this year, We Are People Conference is forced to open up the conversation that we cannot have an holistic development if there are people who are being left behind. There are people, even when we talk about young people, there are those who are more vulnerable than the other. So, and that is one of the group of people who use drugs. Somebody who probably has a challenge with substance use or is living with HIV, is dependent on drugs and is not having access to treatment or having access to support services, cannot develop the same way you expect the individual, and they have a lot to contribute. Like you had a story of a lady who called the first session. She used to have challenge with cannabis. Imagine she was locked up in the prison, she won't be where she is today. So she had an opportunity to get herself back. She has an opportunity for her to take control of her.
Participants reflected on the day's discussions, noting how the stories and insight reinforced the urgent need for reforms that genuinely protect and empower young people. As the conference moves into day two, expectations are high for deeper engagements, stronger commitment, and actionable pathways toward a more just, humane, and inclusive Nigeria. Moving on, Nigeria and Brazil have signed a new partnership to strengthen Nigeria's pharmaceutical sector and cut the country's heavy reliance on imported medicines. The agreement announced by the government yesterday sets a framework for increasing local manufacturing capacity, transferring technology, and building the skills needed to support a stronger health value chain. The collaboration is anchored under the Nigeria Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative and focuses on producing essential medicines, expanding vaccine manufacturing, and supporting industrial growth. Officials say the deal builds on earlier commitments between both countries to deepen cooperation in healthcare, drug development, and biotechnology. The government has outlined ambitious targets, including producing 70% of Nigeria's medicine needs by 2030 and reaching 60% vaccine self-sufficiency by 2040. The plan aims to reduce drug imports, create new jobs, and position Nigeria as a regional hub for pharmaceutical production, strengthening the nation's overall health security. Meanwhile, armed bandits have launched another wave of violence in Niger State, abducting 24 people, including a pregnant woman, in a coordinated assault on Wednesday. The attack occurred in the Palaita community of Verena local government area, where gunmen stormed the farmland and forced laborers harvesting crops into the bush. In a related incident within the same area, the attackers reportedly assaulted a blind resident, severing his arm after he was unable to meet their demands. Local accounts indicate the same group was responsible for both attacks. The incidents have heightened fear across nearby communities, with residents urgently calling for stronger government intervention as insecurity continues to escalate across parts of Niger State. Moving ahead, ECOWAS has renewed its commitment to deeper regional integration, announcing fresh initiatives to expand trade, modernize agriculture, and strengthen economic cooperation across West Africa. The announcement was made at a technical meeting in Abuja, where the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Marture, highlighted ongoing programs designed to boost value chains, support agribusiness, and tackle food insecurity, particularly for youth and women. Environmental sustainability also features strongly, with ECOWAS warning that the region now produces over 2 million tons of plastic waste every year. New measures under its environmental programs aim to curb plastic pollution, protect ecosystems, and promote sustainable land use, all while building resilience to climate shocks. The bloc is further pushing for increased intra-regional trade through the ECOWAS Trade Liberalization Scheme and the African Continental Free Trade Area. Nigeria's Ministers of Agriculture and Environment reiterated that stronger trade systems, sustainable agriculture, and environmental protection are essential to shared prosperity, and reaffirmed the country's commitment to harmonizing standards and driving sustainable development across the region. Let's go on a quick break now. The news continues when we return.
Machine customers. Machine customers are AI systems that can make autonomous purchasing decisions on behalf of businesses or individuals. These systems analyze data, predict needs, and place orders without human intervention. For example, AI-powered chatbots can reorder supplies for a company when stock runs low. While this trend improves efficiency, it raises concerns about control and accountability over automated processes. As companies explore this concept further, B2B and B2C transactions will increasingly rely on machine customers.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Idea TV News at 9. The rest of the stories. France is set to bring back a limited form of military service next summer, more than 25 years after ending conscription. President Emmanuel Macron says the program will enroll young volunteers aged 18 to 19 for a 10-month paid service, with recruits earning at least €800 per month. The initial intake will be capped at 3,000 participants in the first year, rising gradually to 50,000 by 2035. The initiative is designed to strengthen France's defense readiness by supporting the country's 200,000 strong professional military and 47,000 reservists. Officials say the new volunteer corps will handle non-combat roles and help build a pipeline of trained young people who may eventually join the regular armed forces. Macron calls the scheme an act of trust in our youth, aimed at boosting national cohesion and resilience. The move comes amid growing security concerns in Europe, particularly over Russia's posture. While public opinion is mostly supportive, the government has assured citizens that volunteers will not be deployed to frontline conflicts. French military leaders say the program restores elements of the country's long tradition of citizen soldiers while preparing the nation for an increasingly uncertain geopolitical climate. In health, cancer care in Nigeria has received a major boost. NMP's joint venture donates $300,000 to maintain the National Hospital Abuja's advanced linear accelerator radiotherapy machine. The machine, installed in 2019, is one of the few fully functional systems in the country and has already treated more than 2,000 patients, significantly reducing therapy time and medical travel abroad. The funding will support critical maintenance, calibration, and regulatory compliance, ensuring uninterrupted treatment for cancer patients. The machine has also enabled subsidized care for 712 indigent patients and reduced treatment duration from 12 minutes to 2, helping ease the country's growing cancer burden. Unveiling the donation in Abuja, the coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Ali Pate, praised the intervention as a model partnership that strengthens national health care capacity. The Managing Director of Renaissance Africa Energy, Tony Atta, described the contribution as a long-term investment in saving lives, especially with Nigeria recording more than 100,000 new cancer cases every year. In business, Nigeria's central bank has surprised markets by keeping the benchmark rate at 27% but narrowing the lending corridor to plus 50 minus 450 basis points. The move pushed down interbank rates by nearly 200 basis points and lowered treasury bill yields, boosting liquidity in the banking system. The deposit and lending facility rates now stand at 22.5% and 27.5% respectively. Experts say the adjustment comes as inflation cases or eases to 16.05% in October, aiming to support credit growth and economic activity. Investors and banks are recalibrating with expectations of lower yields through the year end. In sports now, the Confederation of African Football has confirmed that all teams in the 2025 Africa Cup of Nations will be allowed to name 28 players for the tournament. This is an increase from the previous squad limit and aims to help teams manage player fitness and injuries. In addition, each nation can include up to 17 technical staff covering coaching, medical logistics, and performance roles. CAF says expanded tariffs is intended to strengthen team support and ensure players' welfare throughout the month-long competition. All 24 qualified countries must submit their final squads by December 11. The 2025 Africa Cup of Nations will take place in Morocco from December 18, 2025 to January 18, 2026. That's the most we can take on Idea TV News at 9, but before we go, another recap of the headlines. IGP redeploys over 11,500 police officers to boost security in underserved communities. We Are People Conference champions human justice reform. Nigeria, Brazil sign new deal to boost local drug and advance or vaccine production. Bandits kidnap 24 mutilate residents in fresh attacks in Niger State. ECOWAS pushes trade, agriculture and environmental agenda for a stronger West Africa. Away from Africa, France reintroduces voluntary military service 25 years after conscription ended. In health, NNPC and Renaissance JV donates $300,000 to sustain cancer treatment in Abuja. In business, CBN corridor shift sends yields tumbling across Nigerian markets. In sports, CAF approves expanded 28-man squad for AFCON 2025. Do not forget to follow us across the different social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oju. Thank you for your time.